You're back. And just have your knees facing the ceiling. Can everybody hear me okay? So good morning. Thanks for joining. I love that we have people from all over here. So welcome to all of our Tahoe people. And then we have San Francisco and Massachusetts and New Jersey. So welcome, welcome. So just come down onto your back. The feet can be comfortable on the floor. Arms either long by your side or just out to wherever they're feeling like you want them this morning. Allow the spine to be natural. And then bring the eyes to close. And really connect with your breath. Just follow your natural inhales and exhales. Noticing when you inhale where the breath comes inside your body. Is it getting stuck anywhere? Is it flowing freely? And rather than trying to clear or shape the breath, just take these first few breaths as a time to notice without judgment. And then just take a couple of rounds of deep inhale and gentle exhale. As you inhale, send that breath down to the belly and fully fill it up, extending the belly away from you. And as you exhale, just gently open the mouth, allow the breath to escape through the mouth. Inhale to fill up and extend the belly. Exhale, let it gently escape. Take 2 more rounds of that belly breath. And when you finish your 2 rounds, just return back to your natural inhale and exhale. We'll take some slow movement to start here. You can keep your eyes closed or flutter them open. As you inhale, you'll send the heels along the mat down toward the bottom and bring the arms up and overhead behind you. As you exhale, you'll draw the feet back to the ground, hands along beside you. And then as you inhale again, press into the feet, coming into a low bridge. Exhale to lower down. And inhale to extend the feet long and the arms up and overhead. Exhale to bring it back in, setting up for bridge. Inhale to press into the feet, rise up into low bridge. Exhale to slowly lower the spine back down to the mat. And inhale, send the limbs long. Maybe taking a little stretch once you get there. Exhale to bring them back in, setting up for bridge. And inhale to rise up into that low bridge. Maybe squeezing through the glutes. Exhale to slowly lower back down and take 2 more rounds of this on your own. Extending, bringing it back together. And once you finish with that last bridge, bring the spine back in connection with the mat, soles of the feet on the ground. And from here, across the right ankle over the left thigh, coming into figure 4 here. And you can either stay right here, or you can draw that figure 4 in close to the body. Being gentle, since we're just at the beginning of practice. And if you've brought the figure 4 in close to the body, release it back down to the ground so the left sole of the foot is on the ground. And bring the arms out to cactus as you rock that figure 4 over to the left, bringing the right sole of the foot on the ground behind you as the right knee tracks up toward the ceiling. Gaze can either be toward the ceiling or over the right shoulder, just allowing that body to enter this gentle twist here. And bring that figure 4 back to center. Uncross the legs and take it to the other side, bringing the left ankle over the right thigh. And either keeping it here or drawing the figure 4 in close to the body by clasping behind the thigh or in front of the calf. And then bring the right sole of the foot back to the ground if it isn't there already. Arms out to cactus and rock your figure 4 over to the right. Left knee up to the ceiling. Gaze either up to the ceiling or over the left shoulder this time. And allow yourself to release through this twist. Using the exhale to find a little more space in the lower back. And then rock that figure 4 back to center. Uncross the legs. And then bring the legs up to 90 degrees. Maybe you need to tuck the lower back on the mat a little more by pulling some of the flesh out of the way or just readjusting the hips here. Arms can be long by the sides. And if there's ever an issue, I should have said this at the beginning, with audio, you can just chat me. I'll see your chat. So bring your legs up to 90 degrees and flex through the toes. And then make sure that your lower back and sacrum are tucked on the mat. Palms can face down long beside you. Keep this 90 degree in the legs as you lower the left heel down toward the mat and back up. And the right heel down toward the mat and back up. So getting strong through the core and moving from side to side. So move only so deeply that you can keep the lower back and the sacrum in connection with the mat. So maybe you can touch the heel on the mat, or maybe not. It doesn't really matter as long as your full spine is in connection. If this feels like too much, you can lower the feet back to the mat and take some pelvic rocks back and forth. Still feeling the connection and the strength through the core. So wherever you are, take a few more rounds of this. Finding that strength coming from the center. And the next time you finish your round, the right foot comes back up to 90 degrees. And point through those toes. Really pointing through, toes are pointing toward the end of your mat. Retuck the sacrum if you need to. And then this time start on the right side, keeping that 90 degree, bringing the toes down toward the mat. Just getting into a different part of that core. Maybe the toes touch the mat, maybe not. Just keep that sacrum tucked on the mat. The more you tuck it, the more engagement you'll find in through that center. Pressing it down. Take one more round. And the next time the left leg comes back to 90 degrees, keep that sacrum tucked. And then draw the knees into the chest, spread the knees apart, reaching for the outer edges of the feet coming into happy baby. You can take some rocks from side to side or find yourself in stillness. Today's practice, we're going to focus on balance. And so our balance can often come from the core physically. And I would just invite you to find your own center, your own guidance there. You know what your edge is for this balance. And when life throws things at us that throw us off balance, the wobble that we might feel in some of these poses today, we know that we'll always find our steady center again. Bring those knees back to center. And then once again, arms long by the side. Tuck that sacrum on the mat. Find 90 degrees with your legs. Pointing through the toes this time. And hug the thighs and the knees and the calves together. So everything is zipped up. The sacrum is tucked on the mat. And then begin to touch the toes down toward the mat, both legs at the same time. Strong through the core. If this feels like too much, you can return to one leg at a time. Or you can bring both soles of the feet on the mat and take those pelvic tilts. Keep the sacrum tucked. Find your edge here. Find that steady center of gravity, that strength that's helping to guide these movements. Take 3 more taps. And when you finish your 3 taps, legs back in at 90 degrees. Bring the arms out to a T and rock the legs over to the left. Just finding another twist here. Allow the right shoulder to melt down toward the mat. Bring it back to center and rock it over to the right, finding the twist toward the right side. Left shoulder melts toward the mat. Come back through center. You can bring the knees into the chest and take some rock and rolls to get up to a seated position. Just give your spine a little massage and then rock up to seated. And find yourself in Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet come together. And you can have a really short diamond or a long one, whatever feels good for you this morning. And options here with a flat back to find a forward fold, fingertips out in front of you, gaze down toward the ground. Or you can wrap your forearms underneath your legs, finding that compression here. Still with a flat back, gaze toward the ground, and allow the legs to release. So the inner thighs begin to open up, the hips are opening up, and the neck is nice and long. We'll be here for a couple more rounds of breath. So if there's any place that you feel like you're hanging on to any emotion or tension, send your breath to that spot and see if you can allow the body to surrender. And then drop the head so the crown of the head is facing toward the ground. Round through the spine as you rise back up. Find a nice, tall, long spine. Crown of the head reaches toward the ceiling. Just finding that opening across the chest. And then you can sweep the feet to one side, coming into tabletop. Just find your center here, making sure that the wrists are below the shoulders and knees are below the hips. Once you find that spot, root into the finger pads, staying lifted up out of the shoulders. And begin to take some cat-cows here. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale to round the spine, drop the crown of the head. Take a few of these at your own pace. And when you finish your next round, we'll meet back in a neutral spine, back in tabletop position. And then from here, send the right leg long behind you, coming straight out of your hip, and the left arm long in front of you, coming into this static bird dog. So find your center here, making sure that you're not dipping into that right shoulder. And feel the strength through your core. When we see things that are perfectly balanced, sometimes it looks so effortless. And then when we do a pose like this, we know how much strength it takes to stay steady. Bring the left hand back to the ground and begin to draw the right knee in toward the forehead. Really rounding through the spine, press into the finger pads, and then re-extend it behind you. So we're gonna take a couple rounds of that. If you'd like a little bit more sensation, you can tuck the left toes and hover the knee up off the mat. Wherever you are, let's take 5 rounds together. Hug in that right knee, round through the spine, and then extend it long behind you. Moving at your own pace, 4 more. And last one, round it in. And then re-extend it behind you. If your left knee is hovered, bring it back to the mat, untuck the toes. And then bring the right knee all the way through in between the hands. Right foot finds the ground in between your hands. Low lunge here. And then inhale the arms up and overhead. Cactus the arms, hugging the shoulder blades together behind you. Allow yourself to feel the opening in the left hip flexor, the compression in the right. And then re-extend the arms up overhead. Reframe the right foot. And just step it back into tabletop pose. Rock the hips from side to side. Then extend the left leg behind you. And the right arm in front of you. Once again, finding that static bird dog here. So find your center here, knowing that moving from side to side is going to feel different. Use that strength through your center to stay steady. And bring the right hand back to the mat. And from here, we're going to take 5 of those tuck ins here with the left leg. If you want to, you can tuck the right toes and hover the knee or not. So let's round in. The left knee comes in toward the forehead and extend it back out. Round it in and extend it out. 3 more at your own pace, trying to move nice and slow. Once you've finished your last one, extend the left leg behind you. And then step it through in between the hands, finding that low lunge on the other side. Bring the arms up and overhead. And then cactus through the elbows. Hug the shoulder blades together behind you. This side feeling the opening through the right hip flexor and the compression through the left. We're just slowly warming the body up, opening the joints, allowing the fluids to flood. And then bring the arms back up overhead. Reframe that front foot and step it back into tabletop. Take 1 round of cat-cow. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale to round the spine, drop the head, and come back to center. Before we move into our standing poses, take the knees wide, toes together. Find child's pose here. Forehead down toward the ground. Arms are nice and long in front of you to keep this an active pose. And take a moment to return to your natural inhales and exhales. And press into the palms, tuck the toes, press yourself back into your first downward facing dog of today. Pedal it out here, repose your dog in any way that you need to, and then take a moment to find some stillness. And with tiny baby steps, Walk your way all the way to the front of your mat. Find yourself in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips come to top of shins. Exhale to fold forward. Sweep the arms out to the side, arms up and overhead. Gaze can follow toward the fingertips. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms out and up. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forward and step back into plank pose. So we're gonna do some work in plank here. You can come down to your forearms, or you can come down to your knees whenever you need to. I'm gonna stay up in my high plank for the moment, and we'll find that roll in again. So you'll round through the spine as you bring the left knee in toward the forehead. And then re-extend to step it back into plank. Moving to the right side, bring the right knee in toward the forehead and step it back. Move from side to side. Left knee comes in and back. Right knee comes in and back. Take a few more at your own pace. Take one more round. And we'll meet in high plank. Lower down the knees, chest and chin. And then rise up into baby cobra, untuck the toes behind you. Exhale to release and press back into downward facing dog, coming back through tabletop or rising up in one fluid movement. Find the breath. And then once again, flow forward into your plank pose. Holding here. Find that strength through the core. Press down into the finger pads, finding your center of gravity. 3 more breaths. And then lower through your vinyasa. Meeting back in downward facing dog. And however you want to get there, step, hop, or float to the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Sweep the arms out to the side, root to rise, gaze can follow. Exhale, hands at heart center. Release the hands down by the side, palms face forward. Roll the shoulders back, hugging the shoulder blades together. And then bend through the knees, fingertips sweep along the mat, come up into chair pose. Engage with the glutes to take some of the effort off the thighs. We're gonna stay here as we begin to tuck the right toes and just come up off the mat about an inch. And then bring the right foot back to the mat. Sink back down if you need that reminder. And then moving to the left, tuck the left toes off the mat about an inch, and then bring it back down. So we're really finding our center here, moving from side to side. I am wobbling if you can't see that. That's okay. And each time you come back to both feet on the ground, maybe sink a little bit deeper. Finding that engagement from side to side. Use those glutes. And take one more full round. And then rise back up Sweep the arms down by the side, close the eyes. Bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Just notice your breath. And then flutter the eyes open, sweep the arms up and overhead. We're gonna come into this star pose. So bring the feet a little wider than hips width distance. And then you'll bring all the weight into the right foot as you begin to rock over toward the right, lifting the left foot. You can flex through the left toes. And just see how far you can come over. And then bring it back to center. And move to the other side, all the way into the left toes. Flex through the right toes. Just shift your star over to the side. You can put a micro bend in that standing leg. And back to center. Take one more to each side. Find your edge. It's okay if you wobble. It's okay if you completely fall out of it. There's no way that you can always get back into it. And then we'll meet back in center. Find that star pose and send all your energy out the fingertips and down through the toes. Gaze can lift just a little, helping to open the throat, open the chest. And then sweep the arms down by the side, bring the feet back in to hips width distance apart. I'm gonna show you this from the side, but we'll sweep the fingertips, come back into chair pose, and then put all the weight into the left foot as the right toes rise up off the mat, find that wobble, and then send the right toes to the back of the mat, high lunge. From here, cactus your arms, hug those shoulder blades together. Find stability. And then bring the hands to heart center. You are gonna press off that left foot, raise the right, coming into warrior three. The right foot is nice and long behind you. Micro bend in that left leg. And once again, find that stability here. Chest tracks toward the ground. And then extend the arms long in front of you. You'll keep the left leg straight as you round through the spine. Arms and right leg come in. Woo. And then re-extend through your wobble back into your warrior three. Whoa. And just like I said, if you fall out of it, come back into it. Let's try that again. Arms and knee come in, and then re-extend. One more time. Bring it in, and then re-extend. Find your warrior three, and then find your high lunge. Right toes tuck on the mat behind you, arms long overhead. Reframe the left foot, plant the right palm as the left arm floats up to the sky, gentle twist. Reframe that front foot, step back into downward facing dog. Pedal it out here. And then take tiny steps toward the top of the mat. Coming into your forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Sweep the arms out to the side, root to rise, arms come up and overhead. And exhale, hands at heart center. Sink down, come back into chair pose. And then all the weight goes into that right foot as the left toes begin to hover up off the mat and step it back into your high lunge. Find your balance here first. And then bend through the arms, cactus the arms. Bring the hands to heart center. And you'll press into your right foot. And left leg comes up off the mat into warrior three. Find that balance. And then arms out in front of you as we begin that same movement on this side. So micro bend in the right knee, and then bring the left knee in as the arms come in, rounding through the spine. And then re-extend into warrior three. 2 more. Round it in. And re-extend. 1 more. Round it in. And re-extend. Holding here. Take another moment to find your balance. And then step the left toes back, high lunge. Reframe the front foot, plant the right palm, the left palm as the right arm floats up to the sky. Reframe the right foot. Step it back into downward facing dog. And then optional, roll through to a vinyasa here. We'll meet back in downward facing dog whenever you're ready. And then step, hop, or float your way to the top of the mat. Bend deeply through the knees, rise up into chair pose. And then we're gonna just do 1 more of those balances on each side and add in something else. So from that chair pose, think nice and deep. Hover the right toes up off the mat and send it behind you into high lunge. Press into the left foot. Right foot comes off the mat into warrior three. Hug it in. See if you can find more balance this time. And then re-extend. Warrior three. Right foot plants behind you, high lunge. And then frame the left foot. And we're gonna take some of those hip dips here that a lot of you have done with me. So I know some of you wanted another chance to do these. So you can bring both hands to the inside of your left foot. Then you'll come to the knife edge of your left foot so that the sole of the foot is pointing toward the center. I am out of breath today. And then you'll come to the knife edge of the right foot. So the sole of the right foot is pointing back. So this is a really funky pose. So find that there. And then the right hand comes to the mat as the left arm floats up overhead. Hips are nice and low to start. As you inhale, hips will rise, arm can float down. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. 2 more. Once you finish your rounds, you can retuck the back toes, front sole of the foot finds the mat, and step back into downward facing dog. Pedal it out, and then come to stillness. Tiny steps to find yourself all the way to the top of the mat. Forward fold for just a moment, and then bend through the knees, arms come up overhead, chair pose. This time we'll put the weight into the right foot as the left toes come up off the mat and send it behind you, high lunge. Big bend through that right knee. And then push off of the right foot. Left foot comes up off the mat, warrior three. Round it in. And then re-extend. Left toes come back to the mat, high lunge. Frame that front foot. This time, you'll come to the outer edge of the right foot. So the sole of the foot points toward the center of your mat. And then the outer edge of the left foot, so it's pointing toward the back of the mat. Plant the left palm, right arm floats up and overhead. And then as you exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. 2 more. And then come back to center. Reframe the front foot. Step back in a downward facing dog. And roll forward into plank pose, lowering all the way down to the mat. Inhale to rise to baby cobra. And exhale to release. Bring the arms out to the side, tent the fingertips. Zip up the back legs. Inhale, rise up to super cobra. And exhale, release. Bring the hands back in, find the forearms on the mat, setting up for Sphinx pose. So the elbows are below the shoulder tips, the shoulders, or just in front of them. And then press into the forearms, finding Sphinx pose. Stay nice and lifted out of the shoulders. Stretching through the core. Take just a couple more breaths here. And lower yourself all the way down to the mat, bringing the palms back to the mat. Tuck the toes. Press back into tabletop. And in tabletop, you can either have the toes tucked or untucked. And we'll take a thread the needle here. So sweep the left arm out to the side. Gaze can follow the hands. And as you exhale, sweep it underneath the right. The left cheek and left shoulder find the mat. Hips stay nice and high. And then you can keep your right hand where it is, or you can walk it out long in front of you, or you can sweep it behind you for a bind. Allow yourself as much as you can to relax into this pose. You can press into the left shoulder, into the mat to find a little bit more balance. If you've bound the right arm, bring it back out, and then everyone meet with the right palm flat on the mat. Unwind your left arm, sweep it out to the side, and back to the mat. Move to the other side. Sweep the right arm out to the side, and then sweep it under the left, finding your thread the needle on the other side. And you can keep the left palm on the mat, walk it out in front of you, or sweep it behind you to find the right hip. Press the right shoulder into the mat just to stay a little lifted. And then wherever your left arm is, bring it back so that the palm is on the mat. Unwind the right arm, sweep it out to the side. And back to tabletop. Take one round of cat-cow. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale to round the spine, drop the head. And then come into your downward facing dog. Sweep the right leg back behind you and step it through in between your hands. Plant the left palm as the right arm floats up to the sky. As the right arm comes down, place it to the inside of the right foot. Left arm floats up to the sky. So we're going to move from side to side here. Left palm replaces right. Right arm floats up to the sky. Right arm replaces left. Left arm floats up to the sky. One more time. Left arm replaces right. Right arm up to the sky. And then right arm down. Left arm up to the sky. As you bring the left arm down, bring it next to the right, so both palms are to the inside of the right foot. And then you'll walk yourself over to the side, all 10 toes face the long side of your mat. So forward fold here. You can put a gentle bend in through the knees. Allow the crown of the head to drop toward the ground. If you can go a little bit deeper, maybe bend the elbows, or you can walk the hands through the legs, finding them back behind you. Feel that stretch in the back of the legs, long through the back. And then if your hands aren't already, bring them back underneath your shoulders. Turn the toes out and heels in. And then rise up. You can roll up through the spine, bending through the knees, cactus the arms, coming into goddess pose. So hug those shoulder blades together. And then moving from side to side, tuck the left toes, heel comes off the mat, and back down. Tuck the right toes and back down. Moving from side to side, staying as still on the top of the body as you can. So just using that center line and that balance that we've cultivated throughout class. One more to each side. And then straighten through the legs, arms come back into that star shape. Reframe the right foot, tucking the left toes, and back in a downward facing dog. Sweep the left leg back up behind you and step it in between your hands. Right knee stays high off the mat. Plant the right palm as the left arm floats up to the sky. Left arm comes down to the inside of the left foot. Right arm floats up to the sky. Right arm replaces left. Left arm up. Left arm down. Right arm up. One more round. Right arm down. Left arm up. And left arm down. Right arm up. Coming back to bring both hands to the inside of your left foot. And then walk yourself to the side of your mat. Once again, find that forward fold. You can take any variation here that you like. Someplace where you can feel that stretch in the back of your legs. Maybe even grab opposite elbows. And then bring the hands back underneath the shoulders if they aren't already. We're going to take some spider walks from side to side. So you'll bend through the left knee as the right leg straightens, toes up toward the ceiling. And then straighten through the left, bend through the right. Moving from side to side, maybe finding a balance, using your hands or not using your hands. Try a balance at least once on each side, since that's what we've been working on today. And feel free to hold in any place that feels really good. And then finish your round here so that the right leg is bent, left leg is straight. And rise up into that balance here. Bringing hands to heart center. Maybe bringing arms up overhead. And then bring hands back through heart center. Walk yourself to the other side. And try that balance on this side, bringing the hands to heart center. And then maybe arms up overhead. Nice job. And then hands back through heart center, back to the mat. And let's meet in downward facing dog. So you can walk yourself back around, downward facing dog. And then this will be our last optional vinyasa here. So flow through your version of vinyasa. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Take one deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then find your pounce position here. So belly is tracking toward the thighs. And then hop to the top of the mat and find yourself back in a seated position, back in Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together. And we'll do that either same forward fold from the beginning of class, or you can sweep your forearms underneath your calves. See if the legs feel any more open. Keep the neck nice and long by gazing down toward the mat or the ground below you. And slowly round through the spine to rise back up. Head rises last. Bring your hands to the outer thighs and bring the feet, soles of the feet to the mat. Hug the knees into the chest and find your sits bones rooted on the ground. Sweep the arms out and up. And then round through the spine as you bring the arms to hug in front of the calves or behind the thighs. Maybe rounding the chin in or the forehead in toward the knees. And really give yourself a big squeeze here. Even if you lose your balance, find yourself out of tune with your core strength. You are still loved and lovable. One more big squeeze. And slowly begin to unwind as you bring yourself back on your back. We'll take some of those same moves that we did at the beginning of class. So bring the arms down by the side, soles of the feet on the mat. As you inhale, you'll slide the heels out, arms come up and overhead, releasing the back. And then exhale to bring it back in. Inhale, press into the feet, rise up slowly into bridge, maybe going a little bit higher now that we're at the end of class. Exhale, slowly roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale to extend, maybe take a stretch out of the fingertips and toes. Exhale to bring it back in. Inhale, press into the feet, rise up into bridge. And exhale, slowly lower down. One more round. Inhale to extend. Exhale back to center. Inhale up into bridge. Exhale to lower down. This time, extend the legs and arms long. And then walk the feet over to the left corner of your mat and the top of your body over to the left upper corner, finding a crescent shape or a banana asana. So feel that long right side body opening up. Try to keep both shoulders on the mat here. And then walk your hands and feet back to center and find that crescent shape toward the other side. So the feet go toward the right corner of the bottom of your mat, hands to the upper right corner. Get nice and long through the left side body. Allow the breath to begin to slow down as we near the end of practice. And then walk it back to center. Hug the knees one at a time into the chest. Take some circles here so the knees spread apart and come back together. Getting any last creaks out of those hips. And then take it the other way. Draw the knees into the chest. Arms out to cactus or out to a T, and knees drop over toward the left, gaze over the right shoulder. Come back through center, find that twist to the other side, knees toward the right, gaze toward the left. Allow the breath to help you release through here. And then bring it back to center. And take any final pose or shape that your body is calling for. Maybe it's a happy baby with a little rock from side to side, or anything else your body is calling for. And then whenever you are ready, you can bring the legs long toward the bottom of the mat. Take up space with your arms. Maybe gently tuck your shoulder blades together under the body. And allow yourself to fully release here. We'll be here for just about a minute in Shavasana. Allow the eyes to be heavy in their sockets. Unhinge the jaw. And feet splay out to either side. On your next inhale, send that breath all the way down to the belly. Fully fill it up and hold it out in extension for a moment before you bring it back in toward the spine and gently back out through the nose. Take some small movements or rock your head from side to side. When you're ready, you'll roll over into fetal position. Take at least a full round of breath in fetal position. Moving nice and slow through these transitions. And eventually we'll meet back in a seated position. You can bring your hands to heart center, eyes closed or at a soft gaze. And we'll end here with one collective Om. If you'd like to come off of mute, take a moment to do that. And allow this Om to represent your balance, your individual strength, knowing that if you wobble or fall, it's not an indication of how strong you are. You are still loved. You are still lovable. Exhale everything out. Inhale to Om. Namaste.
Namaste. Right. Thank you.